Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's latest podcast. My name is Craig, and I am residing in the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. Yeah, it's cloudy, has some rain now and then, but it's okay. Oh, we got a Fort Lauderdale police surveillance vehicle out there. Hello. Yes, I don't trust you. You don't not obligate to protect me, but don't have the authority to harass me. Deep down inside, you know I'm right. Well, today I want to be discussing a couple of articles, and pretty good stuff. One's from FloridaWatchdog.org, and the other one is endoftheamericandream.com, actually written by a gentleman named Michael Snyder. And so the first one will be from FloridaWatchdog.org, and it's entitled South Florida Orthodontist Takes on Obamacare Executive Orders in Federal Court. It was posted by William Patrick on February 26, 2014, and that is today's date. So, let's begin. Tallahassee, Florida. A South Florida orthodontist is taking on President Obama's penchant for unilaterally altering the Affordable Care Act without the approval of Congress. And he got a shot winning. Larry Kawa took to Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Wednesday morning to announce a lawsuit filed on his behalf with the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. It's the only case of its kind. Any of the 29 executive orders relating to Obamacare. If successful, the court could force the Obama administration to adhere to the employer mandate that it has twice delayed, contradicting the plain text of the law. It could be the biggest case of 2014. I'm no political. I'm not a Washington, D.C. guy. I'm an orthodontist from Boca Raton. Kawa told Watchdog.org. But he's also onto something. A federal district judge previously dismissed his case against the government while simultaneously laying out a roadmap for how to proceed. Kawa lacked standing. Standing is a legal principle in which a plaintiff must show an actual injury before a court will hear the dispute. It's a hurdle that has kept at bay other would-be challengers seeking to avoid an injury. If the courts grant us standing when they lose, Kawa said, but because he employs more than 50 workers, Kawa Orthodontics, is subject to complicated regulations and penalties under Obamacare. In March 23, 2013, Kawa spent $5,000 on legal fees to make sure his business was in compliance with the health law. Kawa said he spent 100 additional hours learning about the law, including meetings with insurance agents and his accountant. 4 months later, it was all for naught. The administration changed the law without congressional approval. It was delayed again on February 10th. 4 months later, it was all not. Well, I already said that. Forgive me. Next paragraph. Whatever the started reason for the new delay is illegal, reported the Washington Post, which is a link on there. Kawa, along with Judicial Watch, a conservative legal organization, is suing under the Administrative Procedure Act, a Bill of Rights for those whose affairs are regulated and controlled by administrative agencies. Hey, to me it sounds like mercantilism. Kawa said he doesn't want his money back. He wants something the administration can't buy. I am suing for the court to declare that the act of Congress, the Affordable Care Act, was real and not something the president can change at will, he said. Obamacare expressly states that the employer mandate or employer share responsibility applies after December 21st, 2013. Other provisions such as penalties are specifically tied to that date. An executive branch delay is an illegal change and a violation of the Constitution's separation of powers, critics say. The White House sees it differently. It is preposterous to suggest that a delay in the implementation of a provision within the law is anything unusual. White House Press Secretary Jay Carney told reporters after the first delay was announced. I have several examples here I could provide to you, and numerous more could be provided to you, and they happened under the previous administrations and this one. Let's play the blame game, Carney. Ironically, if the courts rule in favor of Orthodontists, I gotta pronounce that word, Orthodontics, the mandate would go into effect immediately, something very business and administration don't want. However, the fallout could send the law back to Congress for an immediate legislative fix, which the administration is trying to avoid from the outset. If President Obama truly wants to fix Obamacare, he will have to go through Congress, said Tim Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. The latest delay reportedly was an attempt to stem voter backlash ahead of the November midterm elections. Kawa said he doesn't mix politics with his patients, but has received angry emails calling him an obstructionist. I live in Boca Raton. It's a small town and it's unavoidable, he said. Kawa says he's trying to hold government accountable to its own laws. This is a wave that's washing over us, and a lot of people are just standing there waiting to get wet, he said. Some people just don't appreciate what is happening. And he had plenty of links and sources, watchdog.org, and of course, executive orders, it's all in here. And I have to say, good for him, Dr. Larry Kawa. I commend what you're doing, even as a Florida resident, and of course, United States citizen, natural-born person, etc. Support you on this 100%, because the truth of the matter is the Affordable Care Act is anti-Bill of Rights and pro-involuntary servitude. When you have a nut job, I like to say it kindness, a nut job, like Nancy Pelosi made a statement, we have to vote on it first and read it. As far as I'm concerned, she's illiterate. And this is a very good step to make this a reality on repealing the ACA. And you know how they would have fixed healthcare crisis originally? If they were to repeal the HMO Act, which is called Health Maintenance Organization Act of 1973, which Richard Milhouse Tricky Dicky Nixon signed into law. And it should have never happened, because before all this debacle, between almost roughly 30 years, they used to have healthcare checkups at community centers and churches and public facilities, which is honorable. Okay, not this big corporate media or corporate insurance companies. All right, if you still believe the Affordable Care Act is socialist, get your head on straight. I am convinced is a neo-mercantilistic, fascistic healthcare plan. And all you guys want to prove me wrong? Bring your information, not from lip service, from the AFL-CIO or CNN or any of those individuals or entities. Bring in the documented facts that don't include the healthcare.gov website, because as far as I'm concerned, government means in Latin control of the mind. So, yes, I do support, condone his actions, and that's how you do it. You want to solve issues? Be proactive. Don't sit there and whine and stagnate, because that's all you can do. Stagnate means be inactive. Fat, dumb, and happy doesn't work. All right? Okay, well, I'm going to hit the next article here. It's entitled, Yes, there are paid government trolls on social media, blogs, forums, and websites. It was written by a gentleman named Michael Snyder. He has his website called theendoftheamericandream.com. And he's really, that's another good website to go to. Real good man, honorable. And we're like, Facebook, Twitter, pen pals, comrades, don't matter. Because we all he's like myself, a freedom lover and a sovereign thinker. And of course, and he does exercise demoniac resistance. He won't admit that to you, but he does. All right, I'm going to start reading from the beginning. Yes, there are paid government trolls on social media, blogs, forums, and websites. Do you want solid proof that paid government shills are targeting websites, blogs, forums, and social media accounts? For years, many have suspected that government trolls have been systematically causing havoc all over the internet, but proving it has been difficult. But now, thanks to documents leaked by Eric Snowden and revealed by Glenn Greenwald, we finally have hard evidence that Western governments have been doing this. As you will see below, a UK intelligence outfit known as Government Communications Headquarters, though a previously secret unit known as the Joint Threat Research Intelligence Group, has been systematically attempting to control, infiltrate, manipulate, and warp online discourse. This should be deeply disturbing to anyone that values free speech on the internet. It isn't just that the British government is trying to influence what people are thinking. The reality is that it is far bigger than a mere propaganda campaign, as Greenwald recently noted on his website. The integrity of the internet itself, and it is a link, it is underlined on his new website, so definitely check it out. It's pretty interesting, and you know what, I am not surprised at all. And I will proceed by publishing these stories one by one. Our NBC reporting highlighted some of the key discrete revelations: the monitoring of YouTube and Blogger, the targeting of Anonymous is a very same DDoS attacks. They accuse activists of using the use of honey traps, luring people into compromised situation using sex and destructive viruses. But here I want to focus and elaborate on the overreaching point revealed by all of these documents, namely that these agencies are attempting to control, infiltrate, manipulate, and warp online discourse, and in doing so are compromising the integrity of the internet itself. So what other techniques are the British using to control and manipulate discourse on the internet? According to Greenwald, the documents that Snowden has uncovered show that they are willing to sink to despicable lows in order to get the results that they desire. Among the core self-identified purpose of GTRIG are two tactics. One, to inject all sorts of false material onto the internet in order to destroy the reputation of its targets, and two, to use social sciences and other techniques to manipulate online discourse and activism to degenerate outcomes it considered desirable. To see how extremist these programs are just consider the tactics they boast of using to achieve those ends. False flag operations, posting material to the internet and falsely attributing to someone else, fake victim blog posts, pretending to be victim of the individual whose reputation that they want to destroy. Any posting negative information on various forums. The following list of the internet infiltration technique that were listed in one particular slide that Snowden leaked: infiltration operation, ruse operation, set piece operation, false flag operation, false rescue operation, disrupt operation, sting operation. You can check all the slides for yourself. There's a link to that as well, and it's pretty interesting, very fascinating. There is also evidence that the Canadian government has been involved in this sort of thing as well. The following comes from Natural News, and you can link to that as well. You've probably run into them before, those seemingly random antagonizers who always end up diverting the conversation in an online chat room or article comment section away from the issue at hand and towards a much different agenda. Hot button issues like illegal immigration, the two-party political system, the war on terror, and even alternative medicines are among the most common targets of such attackers, known as internet trolls or shills, who in many cases are nothing more than paid lackeys hired by the federal government and other international organizations to sway and ultimately control public opinion. Several years ago, Canada's CTV News aired a short segment about its own government has been exposed for hiring secret agents to monitor the social media and track online conversations, as well as the activities of certain dissent